So in a case of perfect timing, just dropped a new firmware update for the Element about 40 minutes before I'm about to head out for another ride. Let's go through the update, see what features it adds, and then put it to the test out in the road today. Right, so Element update, route me anywhere on the companion app, enter a destination address. Okay, so the routing's been updated. Back to start. We finally have back to start on the Element itself. This is exactly the feature I was looking for the other day. Cool, we'll check that out. Routes, write any route in reverse. Support for importing. Oh, and another one that I like. Greatly improved UI responsiveness. Good. Improved battery life. Good. LED brightness tweaked. Good. LED settings on the Element menu. So more settings for the actual unit itself. Good stuff. Let's put this to the test. Oh, there's one I've just spotted. Disable support for Garmin Connect because they're no longer allowing us to upload files. Come on, guys. Can't we all get along here? It's just bikes. One thing that does get to me about using both the Garmin Edge units and the Element is that the head unit mounts are different. They're different dog ears. So the $100 K-Edge bike mount that I have with the GoPro mount doesn't work for my Element. They were selling third-party pucks to put inside, but I think they're not selling them anymore. Anyway, I can't find them to buy, and I'm not sure whether they're fully supported. So if anyone knows how I can solve that, I want to use the K-Edge mount that I have with the Element. Let me know, because I'd love to be able to just switch between the two. So let's go through the firmware update process on the Element. Still Element app. It says it's still connecting to, here we go. Okay, so we're connected. Update available, excellent, up the top there. Connect the Element to Wi-Fi to do the updates. Okay, so I can't push the update to the Element from the phone. Alrighty, let's set up Wi-Fi on the Element. I'm not going to be able to use the guest Wi-Fi's here because they require a second factor authentication or a second actioned authentication, and the Element won't have the ability to do that. So I'm a little shagged at the moment. Oh, here we go. Okay, so mine's come up. Shut up, barking dog. Okay, so we've got the Element on the Wi-Fi now. So I've never set the Wi-Fi up before, and I've never really had a need to. I've always just used the Bluetooth to the phone. So we're on barking dog, update available, please. See, it knows there's an update there, but how do I get to it? Okay, let's disconnect that. Back into the app, we'll get it to reconnect. I'm hoping to see the update pop back up here. Or there we go. Okay, cool. So I need to get out and get back in to download that. Download. Hey. Typically what will happen here is these units will pull down a bin file and put it into a startup directory, and just the sheer presence of that file will indicate the thing has to update itself on next boot. Not quite sure if that's how it does it. Typically that's how things are done. So this should say when it boots up, it'll probably detect the new binary for firmware. There we go, back to installing. So let's check the status screens of this thing to make sure it does have that firmware that we just mentioned. The firmware revision right there is WF42-1215, and it's telling us it's up to date. Rock and roll. We have the new firmware. Like with a number of things, if the process would be a lot easier if I already had this thing set up on a Wi-Fi network. It would have simply come up on the screen, or I could have just selected from here, System Info, check for updates. All good, but that was the process I had to go through there to set this thing up. So we do have additional functionality with this. It's time to get out there for a ride. And they both use different sized Allen keys. Grr. Centered. Yep, close enough. As is usually the case, when it rains it pours. As I was configuring the new firmware update there for the WAHOO Element, my support confirmation came through for the Garmin issues I was having. So, more work to do on that one, but it's time for a ride. Let's get up and go. So it appears, depending on the zoom level I'm on at this point in time, is the orientation of the map. See, it's north up, and I don't like that. I'm facing east at the moment. There we go. So that's the navigation that I like, which is the direction I'm heading is always up. But as soon as I zoom out, there, we go back to normal. So it kind of caught me off guard a little bit just then, because I want to turn down one of these streets, but it keeps disappearing on me. Turns out I need to update the app on the iPhone as well. So 50 meg later. So the options here are route me anywhere, back to start, route sync via Bluetooth, all the extra functions. So not only was there a firmware update for that today, there's an update for the app on here. Now, let's see what it does. Oh, okay. So I can share the live track link now. There's my current route of where I am. That's pretty cool. Power zones, etc., etc. So there's my live stats of the current ride. That's pretty cool. You can analyze that straight away. Retrace current ride. Last ride reversed. Route loaded. Okay, cool. And there we go. We've got. Now I'm going to take a few deviations from that because I'm going to go a more direct route home. Okay, I'm finally getting my head around all this. I'm not going to follow the same route that it's going to tell me, but I'm going to be keen to follow it along. I'll pull the camera out every now and then. What a day though, look at this. So the unit cracks the shits just a little bit when you go off route and the top line will go red. It'll sort of beep away at you until you can find your way back onto course, and beep, it goes green. Happy days. It's okay. It's working for me. Something of note here with the following the worm home. Like a modest person getting changed at a bike race, they don't show the full worm. You can see I actually came down this road here initially and then went out here for a T intersection and come back this way. So I'm not going that route now, I'm going to go straight home this way. We'll see what happens with the routing home when I don't follow the worm. I'm not quite sure how many kilometres up the road the worm is. Maybe 1 or 1.5, maybe? Can't really... Oh, it's probably... Oh, there's the orientation issue again. Okay, so it took about 100 metres, maybe 150 metres for it to work out that I wasn't going that way. It's then rerouted me home. Somebody mentioned in my other video about trying to route with these head units that it feels like the technology is about 10 years old. And I remarked, yeah, mine doesn't even play Snake. If everyone remembers that game, Snake, on the old Nokia phones. Well, it actually does play Snake now. This thing is one giant game of Snake. When you go off course a lot, it stops complaining after a while, but it'll still pick up where you left off once you get back on track. So it works quite well. I think just following the worm without the alert still works just as well. This thing beeps and chirps. I'm not game enough to put an address in here. How far am I away in Sydney and the major roads just next to me. I think it might put me in a bit of danger. So I'll try that another day. I'm going to switch off the alerty worm, or angry worm as I'll call it, and go back to normal Snake mode in a minute, just to see if that does the job as well. God damn, they're big. So new firmware is rock solid. Power recording looks good, heart rate recording looks good, so all the ant stuff's fine, as to be expected with this kind of unit. The only gripe I guess I've got is the mount situation I'm in. So I'm hoping I can get a puck or a third-party puck to insert this noisy place. A puck to insert so I can just quickly switch between the two. Because I do need to go back and revisit the Garmin Edge 820 after a hard reset. and under the same conditions as I had it the other day. Anyway, almost home, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. More soon.